Good morning. I'm Steve Mellstrom. I'm the Pierce County Solid Waste Administrator. I'd like to welcome you to the Pierce County Recycling Facility this morning. We're going to be giving pretty much an overview of our recycling program this morning, and we're starting outside at our collection site area here. I should say that our hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We are also open the first and third Saturday of each month from 8 to noon. We have two collection containers here today, and this is what you would normally see at a collection site. We have approximately 19 collection sites in Pierce County located throughout the county. We also have 4 curbside programs, municipalities that have curbside programs. The first collection container, or first roll-off container, is going to be our fiber stream, which is going to consist of cardboard, newspaper, magazines, office paper, and paperback books. If you are using our collection sites, we ask that you please flatten the boxes to maximize the space of the container. Our second roll-off container is going to be our container stream, which is going to consist of number 1 type plastic, which would be soda and water bottles, number 2 type plastics, which is going to be milk jugs and detergent jugs, tin cans and aluminum cans, and 3 colors glass: clear, green, and brown. Jars and bottles only. Important things about the container, things to do about the container stream is to make sure your containers are rinsed out, very cleaned out before you dump them in our containers, and flatten the containers you can, again, to maximize space so we can get as much material in these roll-off containers as possible. Moving on, we have containers here for unwanted clothing and shoes. Again, this is self-serve, just like our collection containers here are. We also have a collection container here for cooking oil and grease that you no longer want. We have a container for if you got lead acid batteries. We have a little, you see the gray box over here right next to the black tub? That is for our scrap metal. We also have a really large container, a roll-off container on the other side of the facility that I'll be showing you later, for the people that have a lot of scrap metal. And this individual here just got done dropping off oil. We do about 6,000 plus gallons of waste oil every year. So if you do change your own oil, again, it's self-serve. Basically you can just see the funnel there. It's the steps leading up to it. We ask that you take your containers with you, and you at least drain, if they're number 2 type plastic, you take them home and you drain them for at least 24 hours before, and they can be recycled after they've been drained properly. This is our storage shed that we use for oil filters and antifreeze, and we have a citizen here today that's dropping off antifreeze. Again, it's self-serve. We do ask you come to the office to get a key for this area, because we do charge a fee for the oil filters. Please take your containers with you. Again, same holds here. Please drain your containers for at least 24 hours if they are in number 1 or number 2, and then we can recycle them if they're a plastic container. Thank you. Before we go inside, we always like to stop at this area here. The Pierce County Recycling Facility has these bins that can be used for weddings, graduation parties, any type of family gathering, birthday parties. They're basically for collecting cans and bottles that are generated at those special events. The program is free. We do require a deposit on the containers, but it's a very simplistic program. All you can do is call us and reserve your bins, and it's a good way of, easy way of collecting the recyclables. Like I say, we provide the bins and the plastic bags used. Before we go inside, I should have mentioned that the facility was constructed in 1996. This plastic lumber bench made from 1,500 plastic milk jugs, and it's been out here since 1996. So you can see it's weathered pretty good. Basically been out here for 20 years. Later in the tour, I'll be showing you other products that are made from recyclable materials. And at this time, I'd like to move inside and hand you off to our facility supervisor, Mr. David Murphy.
This area right here is basically what we call our tipping floor area. This is where the trucks come in and drop all their materials. This side over here is where it would be all the nice clean cardboard. This area right up over here is where all the mixed containers come in. The plastics, the glass, the aluminum, the steel. Our mixed fibers will be up over here, and this is the general area where all the trucks will actually come in. We've got two different systems. We have our container line on this side over here, and our fiber system up over here. All of this all feeds into this conveyor on this side over here, where ultimately it'll go into our baler. Everything from this area gets moved by our skid steer operator. He'll use it and just basically bucket by bucket move all the materials over onto this conveyor here for the containers, and then do the same on the infeed conveyor on the fibers on this side over here. And that's this area over here. This area up here is the first sort line, first sort area. Two individuals that work up here. This is where they get their first look at the materials. The first individual, he's going to pull 3 colors of glass, clear the green, the brown. He's also going to pull any type of fiber material, newspaper, cardboard, things like that. They're also going to pull large contaminants, things that shouldn't be in the stream, like maybe a stroller, an ice chest, anything that doesn't belong with our regular recycling. The second individual that's working up there, he's going to help with pulling the glass. He's also going to rip open any bags that are sealed. They're going to be pulling any trash items that they can get their hands on. Then also they're pulling bulky rigid plastics and all the contaminants as well. And that's the first 2 people. We have our newspaper and cardboard that's going to be in here that the guys pull by hand, trash that gets pulled by hand, and then we have our glass hoppers that are right up over here, as you can see the materials falling. This is where the bulky rigid, this is the large plastics that not regular traditional like pop bottles and milk jugs and those types of things, but the plastic is still recyclable, so we're starting to separate that out. From there we have a 2" minus roller disc screen that's up right where that yellow line is there. From there it drops down into a double roll crusher. From the double roll crusher we have our trommel screen. And then our trommel screen, we have our bucket takeaway conveyor. The crusher will predominantly break the glass down into a smaller product. And then we have our trommel screen, which has a series of holes in it, so we can separate out the glass by size. And then everything that exits off the trommel screen will get reintroduced back into the system. And that's predominantly small pieces of plastic, but more importantly, specifically crushed and flattened aluminum and flattened steel, which our magnets will pick back up at the other side of the system there. The 2" minus is right up there. Everything that comes up over the top of the 2" minus will get on this conveyor right here, and then over to the crossover conveyor. If we were sorting special commodities, we would sort it from this side over here. We're not going after anything special or different today, but just to give you a general idea of the speed of the conveyors are running. First side over here where they're pulling the glass, they're pulling the garbage, ripping open bags, looking for contaminants, that type of thing. Then the 2-inch minus, everything, all the glass, all the crushed glass drops off. And on this side over here, these two guys, they're sorting out the plastics. Mostly pop bottles in this first hopper right here. And then we were separating out all of our white plastic, milk jugs, those types of items. They're going into that first bin right there. Then all of our colored material are going into this middle one right here. The guys are also, these two guys will also look for anything these guys over here mix. And then we're also pulling milk cartons out of the system, any of the containers that are no longer wax covered, and then they're pulling them out separately, and we're starting that program as well. Everything that goes past these guys right here, we have our cross belt magnet. This is our Ferris magnet. It's a magnet that's running across 90-degree angle. It'll pick up any steel, carry it out to the end of the magnetic field, and then drop it off on the end there and fill the hoppers. The last piece of equipment right here, this is called an eddy current magnetic separator. And what this does is this actually picks the aluminum up and repels it. So it ejects it up off the top. There's a big magnet in the front there. It ejects it off the top and throws it. And then everything else should be trash items. And that'll come off on a separate conveyor. Yep. It basically works like two opposing magnets. So when you push the two magnets together, it pushes one away. And that's basically how it works. So the speed of the conveyor gets your throw, and then the opposing force picks it up and throws it.
And the first two gentlemen, what they're doing, they're pulling out glass, garbage, and the bulky plastic and metal. As you see, they're throwing the glass across, and right in front of them there goes down a chute, and there's hoppers down there where all the glass goes. And then the garbage they throw behind them. And they're also grabbing paper. And the first gentleman here, he's grabbing all colored number 2. And the next gentleman, what he's grabbing is all number 1, which is mostly your pop bottles.
All of our mixed fiber materials come in and start on the tipping floor right up over here. From there, our skid steer operator feeds them onto our infeed conveyor and our metering belt. And then it comes up on the infeed conveyor. And the very first thing all the mixed materials see is a double deck cardboard screen. It's got great big triangle rollers on it. And basically what it does is it separates out materials by rigidity and a little bit by size. So anything that's rigid, like piece of cardboard, is going to actually go up over the top of the double deck cardboard screens and come across on this big takeaway conveyor. Everything else that's smaller than that is actually going to fall down between the rollers, and then it's going to actually come up on this conveyor right here. Now in between the double deck cardboard screen and this first conveyor here is we have a 2-inch or 2.5-inch minus disc screen. And what that does, that's designed to take out small contaminants like glass, pieces of plastic, those types of things. It does a really, really good job of getting those types of materials out of the system. And from there, we have 2 individuals that work up here, and depending on the type of sort that we're trying to achieve that day, they're going to be doing a negative sort. And specifically, most of the time, they're looking to pull things like box board, those types of things, something that's got a lot of color in it. Box board and small pieces of cardboard. They'll go ahead and do that sort there. And then from here, we have a 2-inch, or it's actually a Mach 1 star screen. And its intention is basically to take large diameter items, 3D rigids is what they call in the industry, and it'll take most of that, and then it'll take that down underneath the screen. Everything else will go up over the top of the screen. And so what we achieve is we achieve a pretty good split of materials where we have nice clean newspaper over here that's going to be mixed with large, let's say milk jugs, those types of things. And then what we have on this side over here, so we have two guys that'll work doing a negative sort, trying to get the newspaper nice and clean, so we're just down to newspaper. So any plastic bags, any cardboard that the first two guys miss, any type of garbage, any item like that, they're gonna manually pull. Then this side over here, we're also doing a negative sort. I've got an individual working up over here. And basically they're pulling any mixed color, fibers that are mixed in, and then any type of container materials, glass, plastic, cans, aluminum, any of those types of things that's been mixed into the system, and also any type of maybe plastic bags or trash items. And then everything comes off the end of the conveyor down into this bunker down here, and then once we have enough materials, then we go ahead and we start to bale. And then from there, basically everything's ready to make it to the baler.
Good job, man.
You can see the big fingers, and that's actually pulling the cardboard off and separating it and putting the cardboard over here.
Falls down in the bin.
Yep.
Okay.
fingers there are just kind of loosening up the paper, and then it goes up this conveyor over where Mike is, or it goes over by Jarrett. And what he's doing, he's pulling the cardboard out. What they're pulling out is any containers for garbage.
Okay, then it goes in there.
Yep. It gets loosened up, and then it'll come up to Mike on this line here.
That's the big conveyor belt.
And then he's pulling cardboard and any missed containers out here. And then the paper goes right down into that bin there. And these two guys are doing the same job basically, but on 2 different lines. See, all his paper is dropping in over there. And they got a pull cord there, so if they get a spot where there's a lot of debris, they'll stop the line and then sort through it. Yep, all the containers and stuff.
Okay, all the newspaper, all the mixed fibers that they ran before when you were watching from above, now he's in the process of baling it onto, putting it into getting it ready for the baler. He'll feed it, he'll meter it real slowly so that we get a good burden of depth, so that when it actually does go up into the baler, we get a nice good pack and we can get a good solid bale. So all of our commodities actually run up this conveyor and then run up on this conveyor here and then drop down into the throat of the baler itself. Now on the newspaper, we actually use what's called a fluffer. It's a great big giant heavy duty metal fan blade. And what it does is it basically chops the newspaper down. It doesn't turn it into a fine mix, but it breaks it down into small pieces, maybe 5 or 6 inches. So what it does is it gives us a greater ability to create greater density in the bales. But basically what happens, everything comes down through the throat. There's a bale chamber. We've got a great big ram. What it does is it cycles forward and it continues to pack. This right here is a set of jaws that holds the first bale in place. It basically keeps them squeezed together, and the ram will continue to cycle till the bale gets to a certain density, and then the bale, these jaws will relax a little bit, allow the bale to slide forward, and then the process will continue. Right in here is a set of needles, big huge heavy needles that actually go across through the bales, pick up the wires on each side, brings them back, then actually twists them together and then ties them. Okay, once it ties them, it cuts everything, and then everything will release and the bale will actually slide forward. Once everything is baled up, from here, we'll take it by forklift, we'll take it out into the warehouse, we'll weigh each bale individually, and then it'll go ahead and go into the piles until we're ready to go ahead and ship.
Okay, once the product's been baled out there, it's brought in here. These are the stake pocket holds for the forks. The bale goes on the deck scale here. Each material is coated. This basically punched in. You will see tags on each of the bales with a number on there that represents the weight of the bale. And if we just want to walk through here, we have cardboard is the first 2 rows here. That would be newspaper over here, aluminum cans. And if we walk forward here, this would be considered number 2. This is your milk jugs, they're non-colored. This would be a good example of number 2 colored bales. Why are we sorting the number 2 into 2 different types of plastics? This is much higher paying because it's non-colored. This is about 25 cents a pound right now, where this product up here is about 22 cents a pound. So we get about 3 cents a pound more. Coming back to the cardboard here and newspaper, cardboard right now is around $110 a ton, and newspaper is about $90 a ton. What's made back into these products? Cardboard, of course, a lot of it's just right back into boxes. The same with the paper. Number 2 type plastic, as I was showing you out front there. Plastic lumber is a big one. Drain tile industry buys a lot of number 2 type plastics. Coming around the corner here, this would be a good example of the number 1, the water and the soda bottles. Again, a lot of them right back into plastic bottles, but they also are made into, if you ever heard of Mohawk carpeting, believe it or not, you could be walking on plastic bottles. Mohawk carpeting uses a lot of number 1 type plastic. On the very end here is our steel cans. And again, like I said, the tags on them represent the weight. So just to get an idea of how much you can get in there. A normal bunker where the guys were throwing into the bunkers out there is about 2 bales. So you can see that baler really densifies it down quite a bit. Other products that we take besides recycling here daily at the recycling center for fees, electronics, as you can see in the background here, TVs. Essentially anything with a cord we can take here, but there's fees associated with most of that. We also accept fluorescent lamps, all types of fluorescent lamps. Why do we take those? They contain mercury. So we want to make sure that they don't get disposed of improperly. We also take tires. Again, these are all fee-based items. Take them daily here. We do take, along with electronics, we do take all major appliances, again, for fees. And what I'm going to be showing you next as we go outside, well, I should show you this real quick. We cannot accept oil-based paints or hazardous waste daily here at the facility, but one thing we can accept daily is latex paint. We do take that daily here, but there are fees associated with it. $1 per container, or if you have a 5-gallon pail, it's $5 per container. Along with everything I've covered so far, the county does hold 2 hazardous waste collection events annually every year, usually the 3rd Saturday in April and the 3rd Saturday in September, and they run from 8 to noon. The program is free as long as you're a Pierce County farm or household. If you're a farm and you have over 500 pounds, we ask that you pre-register. Businesses are also welcome to use our event, but they must pre-register and they must pay a fee for the waste they deliver. One of our last programs I want to show you is our bulky debris collection program. We currently have 2 30-yard roll-offs for that. Bulky debris would be carpeting, furniture, construction debris, basically anything that don't fit in a trash bag. What we don't want there is basically household food, things like that. They're going to attract rodents. We want to keep that stuff basically in your own trash. But this is a fee-based program, and it's essentially the larger their item or the larger their load, the more costly it is. As I stated earlier, we do take all major appliances here for fees. This is a roll-off that's getting ready to be shipped. It will actually be shipped later today. Again, it's basically, most of the appliances are going to be about $15, and I do believe window air conditioners are $20. Earlier I showed you the scrap metal receiving area we have out front by our collection site. This would be for if you have large loads, like large wire, siding, stuff that basically won't fit in the little small hopper we had out front. This is this one here is a 40-yard roll-off container. We do a little over 100 tons of scrap metal a year. And I should have mentioned we do roughly a little over 700 appliances a year and electronic components over 2,000. In the background here you can see where our tire collection area. We do over 200 tons the last couple of years in tires, recycled tires. And I'm going to show you a little later here, I'm going to show you some tire mulch that we actually got from our tire recycler, the product that they make. And I'm also going to be showing you a couple of planters that are out in front that are made from shopping bags and reclaimed pallets, wood pallets. This is our glass storage area. This is about 3 to 4 loads here that we ship to a market across the river in Minnesota, and they have the ability to actually sort out by color even the smaller stuff you see in the pile there. These are the planters I talked. This is a product made by Trex Lumber. Again, it's made from plastic shopping bags. If you are one of those ones that's getting a lot of shopping bags, please check with your retail store. This is where a lot of those shopping bags go for recycling. And there's pallets that are also mixed in with the shopping bags to make this type of lumber. We have one on each side of our facility, and as you drive out today, or you come into our facility, on each side there's a fence on each side of our gate. That is actually a fence that's manufactured using Trex lumber. The other product I wanted to show you that we promote is tire mulch. This basically, you can take a look at the product. This is something you would see in school playgrounds. If you stand on it, it's very cushiony. There's 2 new programs that we're currently experimenting with that we're pretty excited about. First one is number 5 type plastics, which is going to be a lot of your dairy containers like Cool Whip, Cotty's cheese. This is the first container that the guys have been pulling off the line. And we've been hearing there's some pretty good, reliable, sustainable markets for number 5 type plastics. So that might be something we add to our collection program in the future. And this would be a good example of it right here. The other program that's really not new, we've been doing it in the schools for approximately the past 3 years, is our milk carton recycling program. I believe we currently have about 8 schools that are participating in the program. We provide all the bins. We service all the schools. And we're looking to expand this program to the residential sector shortly. This is something we're hoping to add to our program anyway, but it's going very well in the schools right now. So if you're a Pierce County school and you currently do not have a program for cartons, we encourage you to contact us and we can help you get started doing that. Thank you.